In this video, we are going to talk about the top 10 underrated horror movies to watch in October. So before starting, please like this video and subscribe to this channel for future updates. Let's start. Number 10. Crimson Peak, 2015. The malformed love child of an overripe Italian giallo and a deeply evocative gothic romance, Crimson Peak is delivered into this world by the mad doctor himself, horror master Guillermo del Toro, who is working at his most aesthetically deranged. This unquestionably beautiful but ultimately unsatisfying haunted housemeller is all surface and no substance, falling under the weight of its own self-importance into the crimson mud below. It is saturated in meaning and ablaze with color. Crimson Peak is named after the estate where Mia Wasikowska's recently orphaned and even more recently married heroine foolishly relocates with a clearly deceitful brother-sister pair. It is too frou-frou for genre fans, too gory for the Harlequin crowd, and all around too obvious for anyone pressed to guess what the siblings' dark secret could possibly be. As a result, it will probably end up being a loss-making setback. Number 9. One Missed Call, 2008. How will it sound when you pass away? In One Missed Call, a series of people get terrifying text messages detailing their own imminent deaths. The messages can be erased, but there are more of them now. Witnessing the brutal deaths of two friends just days apart traumatizes Beth Raymond. What's more upsetting is that she is aware that each of them had received terrifying text messages that were actually recordings of their own horrible final moments. It's impossible that the calls were made days before their deaths, but each one happened exactly as predicted in the texts. Except for Detective Jack Andrews, whose sister died in a bizarre event that strangely resembles the deaths of Beth's friends, the police believe Beth is insane. Jack and Beth collaborate frantically to solve the riddle surrounding the sinister calls. But as they approach the truth, Beth's cell phone starts to ring uncomfortably and displays one missed call. Warner Brothers. Number 8. Sinister II, 2015. Sinister II, a supernatural domestic abuse drama, is an awkward synthesis of two distinct stories. Independent of the other, neither tale is particularly imaginative. However, when viewed as extensions of one another, the tragic domestic drama subplot and the demonic possession or ghost story primary plot of the movie are both odd enough to make you wish they were much better. The Citadel director Kieran Foy and co-writers Scott Derrickson and C. Robert Cargill attempt to tackle more than most horror movies do, but their narrative about the cyclical or inherited nature of victim or bully roles falls flat. Throughout that regard, the film's makers have the right concepts, but they have no idea how to develop them, which makes the cliched characterizations and cheap jump scares in the movie all the more annoying. Everything that is awful about Sinister II looks 10 times worse because it is so close to being a terrific movie. Number 7. 1408, 2007. Stephen King at his finest in 1408. It's taken a while, and there have been plenty of stumbles, blunders, and outright cinematic flops, Dreamcatcher, but at last we have another movie that can join the elite group of good SK adaptations, a group I like to refer to as movies I can count on one hand. Please God. John Cusack portrays Mike Enslin, a gifted writer who has given up writing books and is now a mediocre ghost hunter who spends the night in haunted locations and creates eerie tales about everything that is said to have happened there, even though he never sees anything. Mike sets his eyes on the Dolphin Hotel in Manhattan and the fatal rumors of Room 1408 after a particularly self-destructive book signing. Number 6. The Cabin in the Woods, 2011. This one won't be something you anticipate. You could believe that you do because the TV advertisements and images at the top disclose what appears to be the great surprise, which the characters undoubtedly find unexpected. However, suffice it to say that there is much more to it than that. The beginning of The Cabin in the Woods follows a well-worn and dated plot structure. 5 college students board the van and travel far into the wilderness where they will spend the weekend in a rented cottage. Their final stop is, of course, a rundown petrol station where a deranged freak lives and laughs at their destiny. In this day and age, when movies are cut and diced for YouTube mashups, I'd love to see a montage of insane redneck gas station proprietors drooling and giggling over the most recent carloads of victims driving into the woods. Number 5. Lights Out, 2016. The first version of Lights Out was a 3-minute short film by David F. Sandberg that was long on dramatic shocks but short on features like narrative intricacy, character development, and memorable dialogue. I don't remember a single word being said. It received a good deal of attention, and Sandberg was offered the opportunity to turn the short into a full-length movie, joining the likes of The Babadook and The Original When a Stranger Calls in prestigious genre company. In those instances, the filmmakers were able to build on the original short's creative, dramatic, and genuinely terrifying elements. The issue with Lights Out is that while Sandberg excels at producing moments, those sudden shocks when something appears out of nowhere and frightens the living daylights out of everyone, they're used in the service of a tale that has little else to offer, and they quickly lose their impact. Number 4. Sinister, 2012. An egomaniacal crime writer and his long-suffering wife, who is already fed up before she learns he has moved his family into the same house where horrifying murders took place, are the main characters in Sinister, a tale filled with darkness. There are also strange loud bangs coming from the attic, distant moans from the dead, vulnerable children, and vulnerable adults. Without a doubt, Sinister is a terrifying film, and the performances add just enough human appeal to give the fundamental elements of horror some depth. Ethan Hawke portrays a motivated, introverted man who once published a best-selling true crime book and is confident a book about those horrifying hangings will be another hit, especially because one member of the doomed family is still unaccounted for. Number 3. Dead Silence, 2007. Even with powerful sequences of horrifying corpses, the violence in Dead Silence isn't as gruesome as Saw's sadistic torture. Dead Silence was produced by the same people that brought you the gory smash Saw and its sequels. In this otherwise classic chiller, expect gory makeup effects and digital hauntings, complete with smoke machine fog and cobwebs that appear to have been created in a magic shop. Even the initial appearance of the Universal Pictures emblem is the vintage, black and white one, not the contemporary one. Dead Silence is definitely suitable for your teenagers if they already enjoy and watch horror films. The key question is whether young people who are used to terror will overlook a rather obvious trick conclusion. Not to mention a ghost that clearly borrows characteristics from the creepier dream-haunting fiend Freddy Krueger. Just momentary glimpses of Mary's ghost, reflected in a mirror or hidden in shadow, make up some of the more terrifying things. Number 2. The Conjuring, 2013. Independent horror director James Wan's movies have always been combative in their guileless grandstanding, from Saw through Insidious. The fact that seeing The Conjuring is like taking a tour of a haunted house attraction with someone who drags and pushes you through every room is therefore not surprising. A witch atop a wardrobe and a clapping game of hide-and-seek are two particularly nerve-wracking examples of how well-placed horrors are celebrated in The Conjuring. But there's more going on here than just the occasional loud noise. Although it's cliché to refer to the house as a character in the movie, suffice it to say that the production design was flawless enough to make every corner and crevice at once scary and quaint. John R. Leonetti, a frequent One collaborator, paints American Gothic textures on both the interior and outdoors of the film, giving the challenging scenes a dreadful beauty that only serves to highlight how ugly they are. Number 1. Oculus, 2013. The Oculus film by Mike Flanagan belongs in the horror category of supernatural item movies. This time, it's a deadly mirror with the ability to inspire people to carry out horrible deeds rather than a haunted doll or magical box. A man may attempt to remove a band-aid from his finger, only to discover that he is actually taking off his fingernail. And what happens to teeth is far worse than that. Over the years, the mirror has claimed the lives of dozens of people. For instance, one mother imagined she was putting her kids into bed when, in fact, she was drowning them in a cistern. According to the tagline, you see what it wants you to see. Oculus eventually reduces to a series of ghostly figures and twisted visions on its way to a cop-out of an ending that you'll see coming an hour away. Despite the narrative freedom inherent in that premise allowing for some truly strong visuals, at times the focus on star Karen Gillan's bouncing red ponytail down a hall or a bloody hand hidden behind a doorframe. What do you think about our video? Let us know in the comment box below. Please like this video and subscribe to this channel for our future updates. Thank you.